To Mr. Jesse Dollemore and Miss Brittany Page. The Diary of a Griever named John Weaver, which is me, still waking up from his sleep. Or almost nearly lack of, anyway. It is the 29th of May, 2026, and it's 7:12 in the morning, West Coast time. I'm not alive yet. Shall we talk? We'll have a couple of things over here so we can talk. Set the phone down right next to the CPAP machine. Yeah, I'm a weird one. I love it. Deal with it. Miss Page, Mr. Dollemore, shall we talk about homelessness? The NIMBY is still at work. The NIMBY still says that homelessness will never die and will continue to plague mankind in a way. I'm taking in the responses of everybody else in this damn town. It's out in California and in different places left and right that homelessness will be a permanent thing. We can't get rid of it. We've got one asshole in the city of Los Angeles mayor run who wants to send the homeless to Seattle. Claims Seattle's welcoming. You kidding me? Seattle wants to get rid of their damn shit. We all got it. They're like getting rid of cockroaches and rats. You just can't get rid of enough of them. That's what people are thinking. That's what people are acting. That's what they're reacting to at this point. We're supposed to be reacting to it out here in our own little towns, our little hamlets. I know people get sick and tired of seeing people on the streets all the time. But the problem is, guys, they haven't been them. If they had, they would understand. But they don't. NIMBY don't get it until NIMBY gets their ass handed to them on a silver plate. No, on a tin plate. Or on a paper plate. While they're scrounging and scouring for stuff. Not all of them are drug users. But we've got one lunatic who's already made the national headlines. And he wants, to do the same thing that the Trumplicans will do. Make the promises, but not make the actions. Give me a fucking break. Treat people like they're like cattle or worse, slaves. We got very little heart, but we've got competition going on of who's going to be right and who's going to be wrong, who's trying and who's not trying. And yes, there are going to be politicians who are going to be trying like crazy on getting the right thing done or getting a compromise done that both sides won't like. Case in point about the tiny homes, it's a Cracker Jack box, but it's better than nothing. I'm saying that because even if it's got a small room, or maybe it's just a little bit of a studio house, where everything else is all in one, except maybe for the commode. But everything in one room. Well, what's wrong with a studio apartment? I never lived in one before. But I lived in apartments that had multiple rooms. I lived in houses with multiple rooms. I had multiple people. But I also know what it's like to get eviction notices left and right in my lifetime. I also know what it's like to have people help me out move from place to place to place. My family did. We get an eviction from a landlord. We get an eviction from a property management. We had to go. We had to find one fast. We opened up the help wanted ads. Actually, not help wanted ads, but we opened up the newspapers, looked at the real estate, looked at the rentals, did our due diligence, got places going. Back in the past, dude. We waste gas, and we drove all the way across San Fernando Valley where I lived in. Jess, Brittany, you guys are familiar with the San Fernando Valley of California, right? That little community, about 1 or 2, maybe 3 million crammed in it into a bowl-shaped area right above Los Angeles. That's got multiple freeways going through it. Yeah, that place. Yeah. Well, bounce from place to place to place. So I know what it's like to growing up in rental. I've been a renter all my life. One time I tried to own, me and my brother tried to own. Me and my big brother, I'm 8 years older than I am. Right after we lost Mama out here in the Antelope Valley, we got it. Put money down what we had on a trailer home out in Roseman, California, the same community I'm living in right now. And yeah, about a year and a half, almost 2 years, we got kicked out because they raised the rates so much that we made the mistake of not making good faith payments. We canceled them, which gave the courts plenty of ammunition to drop kick us. Got evicted, lost property, been homeless on the streets. Barely had property in a storage bin. When we got to this place, it was by God's good graces, but also by my brother being a veteran. He was actually able to go through Veterans Group and Salvation Army to get this dump. Back then, it wasn't that bad. After David died, well, bugs moved in. It's been a dump ever since. Property holder, the landholder, the owner of this and other properties decided to drop kick our ass. Maybe give a little bit of trickle into the property management to keep places going barely. But what we needed fully was more coming out of the owner. What they try to collect out of rent out in this property is trying to keep things going. We've lost personnel throughout 2 to 3 years. We've lost personnel to keep this place running. Except maybe for 2 or 3 maintenance guys, that's about it. And people coming from Bakersfield to oversee dilapidated buildings falling to pieces inside and out. I'm about to be homeless. Jess, you kept up with the news these days, and not the corporate news, but I'm talking about New York Times, emotional support animals. I've had one, 20 years. Became an emotional support animal after I lost Ma, and after that, after losing Dave. It's been a hard nearly decade over that. Now she's a senior citizen. She's got more problems than anything else, but I was still keeping her around. But maybe I should have put her down. A couple of days ago, I had the opportunity over to vet place, but the vet's young. She's in her 30s. She doesn't know her ass from a hot rock, but she's still the vet. And my dog's still alive and still suffering through an ear infection. I'm getting antibiotics for the ear. Sometimes she's able to deal with it, and other times she's not. But I can tell you one thing, Jess, and I can tell you one thing, Brittany. Without her presence, I don't think I'd be able to live. But where her presence right now is, I don't think I can get much sleep either. It's a trade. But it's a lousy joke. I wouldn't trade her up for anything, dude. You don't do that to your animals. You don't do that to family. But we've got a government system's doing that to everybody. Just to be gilded with gold. But how does this deal with our homeless situation? You guys know the answer better. So do I. Tiny homes would be one way. Otherwise, we try to get more commercial buildings that have already been designated as condemnable. They actually had them repaired and made livable. Maybe we'd have temporary or permanent housing. I don't know. But LA has always been handling this shit the way it keeps trying to do. It just keeps fighting each other. It's like the left hand and the right hand can't meet. You can't bond. We clash. More people in the community, less housing, more people on the streets, living in cars. We have to keep shoving them around. We got laws in the local ordinances and the state. Keep shoving and keep pushing them. Keep being NIMBY, 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 NIMBY. This page, you've seen it. You know it better than I do. Tiny houses in certain properties, making it communities for them. Be it temporary or permanent, but be a roof over the head, a place they can go to the bathroom in peace. Maybe find a way to cook things. Maybe they got electrical stoves. They can cook. They can be productive. You know what the scare is? What's being passed around a lot by the Trumplicans out there, by the so-called Republicans, by the conservatives, by the NIMBYs out there. And they're all drug abusers, they're all alcoholics, they don't want to be helped, they just want to live in the street, just be there, just blah. It's not all of them, but there is a portion. They feel so damn helpless about it. Recovery programs are one way, and so is housing, and there's another way of it. But both of them are clashing against each other. Even if you happen to get the person sober on the street, there's no way he's going to find a place to call home unless he's got a halfway. We don't have enough halfway houses. If I would consider a small room a halfway house, why not? A way to get off the streets, off the drugs, and off the alcohol. But the person has to make that kind of choice. You guys ever been in the 12 steps? I have. I'm seeing complex issues regarding the situation. Family dynamics, commercial. There are so many things going on with the homeless, it's not even funny. Even in my own years, I'm 60 years. I've seen it in the 12-step halls, in the food giveaways, on the streets walking them a long time ago. It's still there. It doesn't matter what year it is. It's still the same thing. It never goes away. You're hopeless, you're desperate, and you can't find a place or a couch to crash on. You're out there in the streets. And you get called everything. You get labeled like crazy. It takes miracles to get them off the street and also for them to get sober, let alone trying to find a place of work, if they're able to or willing, a roof over their head. They'd still like to work at it. They have to be willing. There has to be incentive. But if they happen to lose that spark, guys, if they happen to lose it, then what the hell are they supposed to do? And it crashes. You got the conservatives laughing their heads off, saying, "See, we told you, ain't we smarter than you? Push him, just get rid of him." The problem is, they grow. They grow in numbers. Why? Because the NIMBYs become them down the road. How many times have I gone to a county facility and heard the horrors coming out of these people? Or just, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm doing this. Why the hell am I going to a county for food? Why am I going to the county for cash assistance at this point? There's one word: surviving. You're on the streets and trying to fight for survival. You learn about food giveaways. You go over there, grab the whatever they can. Maybe off the kindness of other strangers or NIMBYs. They're just trying to make a name for themselves somewhere. Nobody's doing selfies at food giveaways. Nobody does that. Except maybe the photographers and the ministries to pass off the word and saying, look, helps out here. They may think it's embarrassing as hell, but word does get around on the streets, and addresses are shared, and ministries grow, population and density. But the need gets more and more, and sometimes the help isn't just enough. Yeah, we need the housing out there to put them in there. We also need to feed them. We need to find them clothing, medicine, health care. Dude, it's not that easy being homeless, I'll tell you that much. It's one thing, Miss Page, when you're trying to report it day by day by day, but realizing you still got a roof over the damn head. But without being one, see, there's the trick, Miss Page. If you had been, not just voluntarily, but thrusted out there, you'd know the fear. You know the uncertainty that would hang over your head on a constant basis, and I know that fear. I live it on some occasions, and other days I kind of push it back. That if I hear situations happening, even in the apartment complex I live in right now in Roseman, California, of the stories happening here, it makes me uncertain that I may not have a place to live. And I got that fear hanging above my head most days. Other times I try to ignore it. It's like trying to ignore spider webs around you, or roaches crawling around. In and out of your food cabinets, in and out of your food pantries, in and out of your stove, the oven, the burners, and the refrigerator. You yell and scream, but nobody comes. People tell you what you're going to do, but you need to evacuate. Where do you go? Where do you go? Where do you go? I don't know. Just get out of here. But then where do I go? Who cares? Get out of here. Staying. You can't stay here. This place is unsafe. It's the only place I got. In my situation here, Mr. Dollemore and Miss Page, I'm stuck. I'm like every other person out there feeling it. If they haven't got an avenue, they're stuck where they are. They don't have the courage to get out and find places. I have to try to get context if I could. Maybe some people want to help me out. I don't know. But here's the other thing concerning about being homeless. Trust issues. You hear it, but you don't see the actions. And maybe the actions are hidden, clouded, and maybe they got different intentions. So that's another thing you got to get past, guys. Who's got the true intentions and who's ready to screw you over in one way or another. Sometimes you have to build up alliances on the street, but other times you have to know. You have to have that instinct, who you trust and who you don't trust. I don't trust politicians. I never have. Backstabbing bastards and what? Either they're not altruistic enough, or maybe too altruistic and it scares the hell out of people, including me. But I haven't had the altruistic ones. There's not enough of them anyway. Not enough to feel like I'm part of something. So yeah, I get the controversy. I get the understanding. I get why it's happening right now. Not right now, but all through human history. But we focused on these days because we don't go further enough in human history. Nobody studies history that far. Except if you're a scholar or paid attention to life and everything else going on. Or had these kind of personal experiences. Mr. Dollemore, you haven't been there. You don't have it. Miss Page, you're too scholarly. I hate to say it, but you are. You walked among them. You didn't live there. You weren't. You just didn't put yourself into that kind of environment to live there day after day after day. Or did you? Or did you, Miss Page? Did you happen to go to too many food giveaways to feel comfortable with them? Were you taken out of your comfort zone and into the danger zone. Sorry, Kenny Loggins. Where you get to feel like you're uncertain about anything, and you look at people with fear in your eyes, but also something else, something you couldn't even describe to another person, but they would know it. See it in their eyes, their movements, hear it in their voice, and their actions. And then you would look at law enforcement who's supposed to be helping you out. You in your comfort zone think law enforcement will be helping everybody else. And then you discover the darker side of it. The darker nature of it, guys. How you get to be pushed around. How the NIMBY doesn't want you there. How NIMBY will shut you down one way or another. How you look like you're a tramp. I look like a tramp. I feel like a tramp. But I'm paying my rent. I haven't had a decent shave in a hell of a long while. I haven't had a decent haircut since COVID, or actually pre-COVID. And my health has already been deteriorating a little bit, but I'm still trying to struggle with the damn thing too. So I got health insurance being paid through Medi at this point, keeping me alive. But if I haven't taken care of myself enough, my body shows it, and I'm dealing with the health consequences. And imagine if I was out there. Okay, you know what? Imagine if I was out there in the streets and I got ulcers on my feet. How the hell am I supposed to be walking with ulcers on the feet? Type 2 diabetes, where the foot looks like it's worse than Frankenstein's, or just uglier than that. Or imagine having those sores in the feet turning into a cancerous situation. It turns into gangrene. How the hell are you supposed to be dealing with it out there with gangrene and your body eating you up? MRSA coming in to kill you one way or another. You become another statistic for the county to take care of. Tossed in a nursing home if you're lucky enough, or recovery home. Stay there until you die. Yeah. You think it's horror stories? You think it's a fairy tale? Welcome to Los Angeles. Welcome to any other kind of city dealing with that shit. I've seen. I've experienced. I experienced being tossed out by renters, actually by landlords, by property management. Renter forever. But I'm only living on this planet temporary anyway, so I might as well be a renter, not a holder. Hold too much junk with you, losing it along the way. It's like holding sand in your hands when you're a lot younger and how to watch and go out. I barely have any strength in my arm to do this kind of shit or hand. I don't even have the grip like I used to a long time ago. Sucks getting older when you have these memories of things that are still affecting us to this day that never got over with. Call me a fool and idiot. I would. I've just been a guy I've been out there. So, Mr. Jesse Dollemore, Miss Brittany Page, this is my story. I'm sticking to it. I pull out bugs out of my damn hair that I wake up to every morning. This is my place that I have rented for several years, right after my big brother died. We were both casted out of one particular trailer home, spend about a month and a little bit more on the streets. The fortune favored us for about that time period before getting into this particular apartment here, where we spent time on the streets, and then we spent time in a motel pleading for assistance. Kindness of strangers helped. We had to go to food giveaways We had to save whatever money we had in recycling to feed 2 dogs and 2 adults. My own version that I lived through, I didn't do the dynamics of camping out. But just pleading for donations was bad enough anyway. You talk about humiliating, humbling, and you see the value of humanity. You see the value beyond being called NIMBY or being labeled as such. You're grateful for the meals out there. You're grateful for the food that people give you. You're grateful. And you have to keep that attitude of gratitude and that humbleness. Otherwise, you're screwed. To the point. But the NIMBYs, people who keep calling you a NIMBY, not my backyard. Get away from me. Who do you think you are? Look in the mirror, pal. Look in the mirror. That being said, guys,